Hi, I'm Graham Blackburn, and this is traditional woodworking by hand. And for you Brits, even though today is not December the 26th, nevertheless, it's Boxing Day. So, fresh back from the lumberyard, I have a nice piece of 1x6 that's a little long for what we're going to do. So the first operation is to use my crosscut saw and saw the end off. And if you remember, you do that by taking a few back strokes to establish a curve and then sawing very gently, remembering that the handle is only held with 3 fingers, and the secret to making this fast and successful is not to push. If I push, the saw will get stuck. But I'm very gentle. It won't take very long before I've completely sawn off the end of the board. When I get to the very end, put my knee on here and hold this just so it doesn't break off. And there we have it. So the first thing to do, having gotten the stock to the right length, is to make sure it's flat. So a little reprise on a previous episode where we showed you how to use winding sticks to make sure that the board is in fact flat. We put the one at one end and we put the gaffer at this end, and we sight down, and if in fact the tops of both winding sticks are level, then we know that the board is flat. To be really sure, we might want to try that with the gaffer at different spots. But that's the first operation, making sure that the board is flat. Now, the next operation, before we start laying things out, is to make sure that the board is in fact smooth. So I can use my nice little block plane, my smoothing plane here, and I can just gently work my way all the way down the board. And what I'm doing is removing the milling marks that were left on the board before it was delivered to the lumberyard. So when we've made sure that the board is flat and we've made sure that it's smooth on both sides, the next operation is to lay out how we're going to cut this board up to make the various pieces for our box. Now, there's not very much figure in this piece of wood, but nevertheless, I would like the figure to continue all the way around the box. So I'm going to start off by marking the first 12 inches, and that's going to be the front. And I'll mark it front. It always helps to mark every piece. Then I'm going to come 4 inches in from that mark, and this is going to be the side. And I'm going to mark this piece 2. From here, make these marks a little easier to see. From here, I'll mark a foot that will represent the back. Make the mark nice and clear so I can see what I'm doing, and put a B on here for back, always in the triangle, because the point of the triangle system is that that tells you what's the top edge of the piece. Then another 4-inch piece here, mark that, and saw that off, and this is the other end in a triangle. And now this next piece, which will also be about a foot, mark it here. This will be the top of the box, mark that, and then the last piece will be the bottom, also another foot. And we actually end up with a little squareness. So now all I have to do is to saw off the constituent parts, and wherever they end up, I'll always know how they go together. So to do that, I'm going to use the bench hook, which we saw in a previous episode. And the bench hook is a really easy way of sawing the board to the right height. One other little tip. I always, next to my bench hook, which I keep underneath my bench, another piece of wood that is the same thickness as the bed of the bench hook. That way, if I have a long piece of wood to saw, that this piece remains perfectly straight. I'm going to try and make as exact a cut as possible by following the line, but as you'll see, once we have the parts all sawn out, we're going to use the shooting board to make sure that they're perfectly square and flat. So here we go. Always start with a few reverse strokes, and then just simply keeping my eye over the saw to the line all the way down. The next operation is to make sure that the ends of all these pieces are now perfectly tried and true, for which purpose we use the shooting board. So I'm going to take a square, and as close as I can, I'll make a mark down here, and then using a piece of scrap so that I don't split the end out, I will now, with my miter plane until that line is completely disappeared. And that's pretty much all it takes. And if I can find my square, you should be able to see that the end is square and that the board is actually true all the way along. So I have to do that on the ends of all the pieces. Having cut all the pieces out and having made sure that the ends are square, we're now going to nail the front piece to the two side pieces. Taking advantage of the marks that we made before, we can see that in fact the grain continues all the way around. So in future episodes, we'll get into all kinds of fancy joinery, but for the meantime, we're just going to nail this. So we'll start off making sure that we've got the hole where we need it to be. And then neat little trick. If you nail close to the end of a piece of wood, it's very often likely that you'll split the wood. The way to avoid that is first of all to blunt the front top of the nail. And then, with luck, when we put that in, it won't split the wood. So I'm using my fingers to make sure that everything feels perfectly aligned, and I'm simply nailing this in. Now, this tool is what's known as a cross-peen Warrington hammer. It's a woodworker's hammer, not a carpenter's hammer. And part of the reason is that it has a nice convex head to it, so that I don't need to make a dent in the wood. I'm going to set this with a nail set, but even so, the roundness of the head will get the nail down flush with the wood. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom, making a little starter hole here. With my brad awl, take another nail, well, not one with a head, and blunt the tip to avoid the possibility of it splitting the wood, and I'll nail this in. So having nailed the front and the back to the sides, it's time to nail the top and the bottom on. We'll start with the top. So put the top on here, make sure that one side is flush. It doesn't matter if it overhangs a little bit. Now we'll do the same thing. We'll nail in from the center. Another one on this side. Now we do the bottom. So when all the nails are in place, take a nail set, make sure that all the nails are a little below the surface. Do that all the way around. And then using a little spackle, fill the hole here, and your box is now ready to have its lid cut off. And that's achieved by making sure that you're looking at the top. There we are, is the top. And set your marking gauge so that it doesn't interfere with any nails. And draw a line all the way around. And this will represent where you get to saw off the top. And the easiest way to do that is to simply put it in the vise and using a back saw, start at each corner, one corner and then another corner, and then turn the box around. Sometimes helps to tilt the box a little bit and to saw, and if you saw carefully enough, staying to the line, you'll end up with the top being a separate piece. The top having been sawn off and the edges chamfered, as we saw in a previous episode, all that remains now is to affix the hinges. So that's most easily done by putting the box on its side and then measuring an exact amount both ways. We're going to use little face hinges. The important thing is to make sure that the knuckle is in line with the gap, and we'll measure it so that it's exactly 2 1/4 inches in. We'll then take an awl and we'll make a starting hole right here. And using the appropriate screwdriver, or rather small one, we'll insert the first screw. Oops. The little screws are hard to see, but using the brad awl makes it easier. I still have a couple more screws to put in, but basically here is our box with a lid, all nicely put together, exactly the right size for my smoothing plane. And there you have it. I hope you like that. We're going to make much more complicated things in the future, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to demonstrate some of the techniques that we've been going through in previous episodes. So please subscribe, send me in your comments, and keep watching traditional woodworking by hand.